So you should have finished outlining your soup can design with a crayon. So what you're going to do now is, maybe you don't have a lot of paint at home. Maybe you don't even have a paintbrush. So I'm going to show you a way that you could do this without even having to use a paintbrush. So here I just have some inexpensive water-based markers. So what I'm going to do is, when we were talking about our Vincent Van Gogh flower vases, we talked about something having a light side and a dark side. So let's say that I start over here with the green side of the can. So I'm using the marker a little bit. And this is going to be my dark side. So this is where I'm adding some color to it. But I'm only going to go a little bit of the way across. So I'm just going to be pressing a little bit lighter as I go across, like we talked about with our oil pastels a while back. So I'm going to stop there. So what I'm going to do, maybe you don't have a paint set, so maybe you don't have a paintbrush. So I have a Q-tip here, something that you might find in your bathroom. Normally you might stick it in your ear. We're not going to do that with it today. If I add water to it, since this is a water-based marker, then I can actually pull the ink from the marker around and use it like paint. The nice thing is, where I put more of it, it's darker. Where I put less of it, it's going to be lighter because there's less for me to pull across. So instead of me filling in the whole thing with the marker, I'm actually going to be pulling the paint across. Now maybe you're like me and you forgot. You didn't put the Q-tips on your list or something going to the grocery store. So maybe instead of that, maybe you have a paper towel or napkin. Take the end of that, twist it tight, dip that into some water, and you're going to get the same thing. You're going to be using that as your paintbrush, pulling that across. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm not even going to sit there and color in the whole thing. I want part of it to stay light, part of it to stay dark. If it's bothering me, I'm going to put some color on this side, but I'm not going to put near as much as I did on the other side. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to use my little makeshift paintbrush, add a little water to that, and I'm going to use that to pull some of that green further across. Then I have a gray marker, or if I used a black water-based marker, I could get the same effect, because when I add the water, we know that's going to make it come out lighter. So if I'm using a napkin or a paper towel or a Q-tip, what I want to be careful of is, I don't want to use this same one. I don't want to take this one and dip it in the water to use it for a new color. I could conserve this, like instead of just throwing it away, I can turn around and use the other end. When I wet the gray marker ink, you'll see that it's moving around. It's acting like paint because it's water soluble. So when I touch it with the water, that makes it wet again, so I can move it around a lot like I could paint. So you would do the same effect with your other parts. So here I'm going to do that with the tomato, or the tomato, however you want to say it. I'm going to do that with the mushroom. And again, I'm not going to color in the whole thing. I'm just going to go about halfway across, wet my Q-tip or whatever tool I'm using, pull it across. I get a light side and a dark side. Don't use that same color. I almost made a mistake. So I'm going to do the same effect with my letters. So I would use a blue marker. I would use a new Q-tip so that I have a clean color side to put on there. Or I could use a napkin. Or if you have a paintbrush, use a paintbrush. And if you want to use a paint set that you might have, you can use that as well. So I look forward to seeing how these turn out, guys.